Hey, hold your finger on the screen when it feels right.
So, what did you get when you stopped the video? Because that's what I got. For nothing will be impossible with God. Luke 1:37, but there's many different translations. In the scriptures, it says, because with Elohim no matter shall be impossible. So, nothing is impossible. Like this life that I live, it it was not impossible. It was always a dream that I had from young. Always wanted to live in a country far set apart from people. 1986, went down to North Carolina on a family trip with my grandmother, my aunt. Was my mother there? I don't know. I have to ask her, or maybe she'll comment in here. We were in Castle Hayne, North Carolina. No, my mother did not go because she got reports of the 6-year-old me shooting a rattlesnake with a rifle in a ditch at 6 years old, something that would be highly illegal and impossible to do living in New Jersey. So, yeah, my mother wasn't there on that trip. So I believe that it was my grandmother, myself, my aunt, my great aunt, Aunt Ida, and her husband Carl, which my cousin Carl is named after. It's a family stuff. So many years had gone on, and I thought that I was never going to be able to experience that or live that type of life. I did all these different things. I worked for the telephone company. I had my own business. I used to make websites. I used to do computer networking. Did a whole bunch of different things. I played semi-pro football. I became a professional fighter. I was an over the road truck driver. The laundry list went on and on. And it started to feel like it was going to be impossible to live a life like this out in the country, raising a family, being married. At one point, I thought I was just going to be paying child support, and that's all that it was going to be. I was at time whoring around, not being able to raise a, a little one like this, my little chunk that has soaking wet, cold hands because he's playing in mud and in puddles and stuff with his toys. Being able to have that type of life, that life to live, instead of what I grew up in the hood, where at his age, it took a while for me to even be allowed to play outside of my fence in East Orange, New Jersey. Then I got permission to go around no, go to the end of the corner, which is like 3 or 4 houses down. Then, yes, my chunk. No, I don't think we're going down to the creek today, but we um see, even having something like that. Hey, when I was younger, we wanted to go to some type of water place. You definitely didn't want to go to the Passaic River because it was all types of toxins and stuff like that. You would have to plan out a day and go to Seaside Heights or go down to the shore. But no, we have a giant creek. I don't know if y'all could hear it rushing. We had a massive rainstorm that came through and replenished and refed the mountain, refed our well, re-giving life into the soil before we go into the dead season. Cows and stuff over there making noise. But got off track due to the chunk for a little bit. And never thinking that I would be able to live a life like this. I went into my 20s, started getting tattoos and different things like that. This is me trying to figure out what is next for me. I started putting reminders to myself. It may not make sense to any of you. I have the number 62 tattooed on me multiple places so that I can always remember or be taken back to those moments of who I am, who I was, and what I've become. That's what that number 62 means to me. I even, well, I haven't checked it in a while. I had a website, ir62.com, where I would put all my fight information. I would put blog posts all up. I, at one point, was trying to write the book of my life at such a young age, trying to pull that off. I'm saying such a young age. I believe that was in my 30s when I was doing that, trying to hit everything from every angle. But one of the tattoos that I got in my early 20s was based off of a commercial that I saw on the internet. I believe it was an Adidas commercial called Impossible is Nothing. Here comes the chunk again, or maybe not. And it's right here on my wrist. I don't know if it's visible. Let's get it there. And the sun is fading away pretty drastically. Impossible. That says impossible is nothing. So that brings me back to reminding myself that there's nothing that I can do in this world that is impossible for me. I can I can if I can put my mind to it, I can accomplish it. That's been the drive that I had for so many years. So yeah, I looked up the commercial for that Adidas commercial, and it was a Muhammad Ali commercial that Adidas did, I believe, in 2004. At least that's the when the it says the commercial aired or was first recorded in 2004. So that might be when I got this tattoo of many. I, it may have been after I got the football tattoo right there. That's my oldest son. And on the other side, it says, I will not lose. It's also a bracelet there with, yes, the number 62 on there, but all these things are fading. But I don't want them to actually fade out of my memory. So I have to remember the reasons why. Like, impossible is nothing. I can't go anywhere and not feel inadequate because I made myself to be able to fit in anywhere without having to conform to anyone else. I am myself. I don't change for anyone. It took me a long time to learn that type of consistency. When I was younger, I had those fears of, oh, I I am not going to make anything out of myself. There's not going to be a long-term sustainability plan for me. I'm just going to end up like everyone else that's around me. End up getting some chick pregnant and not getting married. And I can't even say that's because of everyone else. That was because of my family. My mother is not married. She's in a long-term relationship, but she never got married. My grandmother walked away from her husband when he went to the military and then came back. My aunt never been married. And then I started seeing that pattern recycle itself. My uncle never got married. My cousin never got married. My sister is not married. My little cousins are not married. The different cousins from different family members, none of them are married. I am the only one that's married. Everyone has their different reasons of what they were doing in their life, what they committed themselves to do. But how are we supposed to have a foundation and create generational wealth if there's no foundation for the next generation to come up? That is something that I always feared. What am I going to leave my children? When I was still in New Jersey, I had a couple of guns, a belt buckle that said 62. That's it. That is all that I had. Now I'm working hard to have this and be able to pass this on to my children. And then eventually expand out and be able to purchase everything around me as far as the eye can see. It's not impossible. I don't have the money for it. I'm not going to be defeated because I don't have the money for it. I didn't have the money for this house, but the Father provided a way to make this happen. It wasn't impossible. So, taking over all this land, this multiple thousands of acres that's around me, it's going to be mine. I'm not going to look at it as being impossible because at some point it's going to belong to my sons. That is my plan. That is my mission. So that their children can look back and be grateful, not only to me, but it would be a reminder that to the Father provided for them. Nothing is impossible. As long as you put your mind to it, grind, push forward, make a plan, and be grateful every step of the way. So, if you pause that video in the beginning, wonder what Bible verse you land on. Let me know in the comments. Y'all have a blessed day. Shalom.